Dorothy.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. So the first question is, where are you from?
I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. Not far down the road, very urban.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I always have kind of like an interesting story when people ask me where I'm from, because I was born in the Bronx, but I was raised down here in North Carolina, specifically Smithfield, North Carolina, and that's about like an hour away from here. But I am Afro-Latina. Both of my parents were born and raised in Honduras.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Very cool.
How did you make your way to UNC?
Both my parents went here, and then so did my older sister. And so I actually had no interest in coming to UNC. I thought I wanted a much smaller school. It was very big and scary. But after like a long college process, I really fell in love with it and wanted the adventure of doing something really big where I could be with a lot of different kinds of people. What about you?
For me, I think we're different in the way that I was a first generation student, or I am first generation student. And for me, a big decision or a big part that made me want to come to Carolina was attending Project Uplift. Yeah, so before Project Uplift, I was just like, what's Carolina? I'm focused on ECU or NC State. And then coming to Project Uplift made me realize that as a woman of color, like I can still come here and have my community. So yeah, I would say that's like the key part of me deciding to come to Carolina.
It's really cool.
Let's see, what's a distinct happy childhood memory?
For me, one that comes to mind is being at the beach with all my cousins. We time my uncle asked us we were digging a hole, and he said if we could make a tunnel that we could all climb through, then he would buy us ice cream. And so we spent like hours out there, and we did it, and we dug a tunnel in the sand, and we all dragged each other through it, and then we got ice cream, and that's one that comes to mind.
Dope. Let's see, I can't, a happy childhood memory. I feel like my childhood was like 50 years ago.
Every day it's further away.
Right. Let's see. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
I'll think about it some more.
Okay.
Okay. What's a distinct, happy, recent memory?
Do you have one off the top of your head?
I would say probably today. Because I absolutely hate being cold. So yeah, when I woke up this morning and I saw like 60 something, I was like, whew, it's gonna be a good day. We're gonna put on a cute fit. We're gonna, of course, bring your jacket just in case. But I think, yeah, the sun really makes me happy. Being warm really makes me happy. It reminds me of like different things in my life, and just being comfortable as well. But yeah, I would say the weather today.
Mine, like about a week ago, me and two of my really good friends who I don't see as much because we aren't in the same every day. I don't live with them, and we don't like cross over in class or anything, and so I don't get to see them as much. But we all road tripped to Charlotte to watch one of our friends play soccer, and we got up at like 6 a.m. But being in the car with them and just having like very intentional couple hours with them was really, really special and fun.
That's great. What's the biggest challenge you've faced?
Wow. I would say the one that comes to mind was starting high school. I was at a really small Christian school, K through 8, and then in 12th grade, for high school, I switched to a bigger school, and on my first day of high school, my cousin was in a fatal car accident, and so I didn't actually go. I missed the first couple days of school and was up in High Point dealing with that, and so starting a new school with new people while like trying to grieve that was a really, really big challenge and one that really shaped me.
Okay. I would say I've faced two big challenges. One being, oh well, I just looked ahead. Okay. The first one being accepting that I did not want to go to med school. I think for me, coming from a background where like I'm having, well, my parents are immigrants. They came here. They went through a lot to provide a better life for me and my sisters. I like automatically thought of, okay, what career is going to get me a good amount of money to where I can support myself and my family. And then I was meeting with one of the advisors here that's on campus, and we were just talking. She was like, if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? And I was like, I'd probably be around the world, like touring the world, dancing around like with major artists or whatever. She was like, okay, so why aren't you doing that? And I was just like, okay, you didn't have to read me. But I think, this year it was very hard for me. I would say it's been like 2 years, nearly 3 years in the making of like finally accepting that that's not my passion, that that's not what I want to do with my life. And just coming to the realization that life is too short to do something just for the money or to do something just because you can, and at the end of the day, it's not what your heart wants. And I would also say coming to terms with my religion and like what I believe or who I believe God to be. That's something that I'm still kind of working through myself, still trying to figure out. But I think it was tough for me because I come from a home where it's not like strictly Bible thumping or anything, but God is very important, and I think it's just trying to find out who God is for me and not for who my mom taught me to, So I would say that.
Awesome.
Okay. Who is the biggest role model in your life?
That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of people I think who have influenced me, but one that sticks out is one of my teachers in middle school. I still keep up with her. I still see her when I go home over break, and she just kind of really showed me what it was like, so kind of what you were talking about, of living my own faith and not just taking what my parents had to say, but really finding out who God was and making my own personal relationship with him. And I think she really showed me how to do that and showed me how to be able to resist or be countercultural in that and not just go with what culture is saying is happening, but sticking to my faith and also just being adventurous in it and going out and always trying new things and being who I want to be. So she's one. Her name's Jessica Masnati, but she's one that I would say is a big role model for me.
Cool. I would say my mom. I feel like that's a basic answer, but I think she is. We're so similar to the point where we butt heads a lot. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's that woman. And I say my mom because she is the epitome of strength in what I aim to be, especially when I grow older and become a mom or a grandma one day, hopefully. But just seeing the things that my mom has been through, it sounds kind of corny, but that whole thing where people say if I can be half as strong as you are, I'd be good. But my mom's a very strong woman, and I hope to embody that one day. So
she sounds awesome.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh. Loaded. I think my faith's super important to me. So the biggest thing that I would like to leave at UNC would just be that one person might say she gave me an example of what Christ could be like and what he could do in my life. And so if I left any one person with that, then I would be very content.
Wow. I would say, I feel like I have multiple answers to that. And I thought of this question as in what do I want to be remembered for once I die? And I would say I would want to be remembered for, if we're talking like surface level things, I want to be remembered for a person that's very stylish. I'm getting there. Once I get my money right, I'll be doing better.
I think you're doing great. I mean, with my t-shirt, you look incredible.
Thank you. I want to be remembered for being a creative person. Specifically with poetry. I love writing poetry, so I hope to have a book published one day. I want to be remembered for hopefully being a great mom, if I get that opportunity. I want to be remembered for being an independent woman that strived for what she wanted in life. Ooh. I want to be remembered, period. I don't want to be forgotten at all. Awesome. Okay, and the last question. What's the most interesting thing that you learned about the other person?
Well, for you, I'd say I find it so incredible and so inspiring that you're following your passion, wherever that may lead, and even if you're not sure exactly what it looks like, you're not willing to let go of that, and you're chasing your dreams. I think that's really, really cool.
Thanks. I would say the most interesting thing that I learned about you would be about the tough transition that you had going into high school. Because I know, like, for a lot of people, like, the general or most common answer is, oh, it's high school, you know, like, you're getting older, you're going through puberty and things of that sort. So I was kind of expecting that, but then, like, I stood corrected. I was just like, whoa, that's going through something of that sort is very life-changing. That can be very hard, but the fact that you're still here today and you didn't let that, like, take over you for the worst is pretty amazing. So yeah, I would say that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking with me.
Thanks for talking with me.
It was great to meet you.
Same to you.